Greetings, I'm joining us as broadcast. All right, we're back. And old location or original old location. So, all right, today is um, MILABS. Now, why this comes up, I've heard of this before. I never really dived into it. Uh, why am I talking about it? I'm not really completely sure how I ever found it, why it even came up, but we're talking about it now, though. I was looking up something else, and well, either way, here we are. Mind Control Center should have put like a slash there in the title. Android realities, um, numbered cities. So my lab and the numbered cities are a little bit separate from each other. So my lab is, or if you looked it up, it was about mind control and MK Ultra, abductions, things like that. And we're going to that energy, and then Android. Now we're going in an AI reality. Of course, we have a ways to go, but there's also I did a channeling earlier today. It'll be uploaded someday. Um, about Android cities, there will be, no cities will have numbers instead of names. So like MX, 1, 2, 3, or something like that. Like how computers are named, uh, and just like I think even phones how they're named. They kind of like sometimes have a number on them. Yeah, it won't have a normal like Alabama or anything like that. So when that occurs, we have some time for that. But it does get you kind of thinking is like if you see like a number, because Android energies, we're going into that reality where at least the next 10 years more robotics will be advanced. Maybe not to the extent of, at least we'll have like little machines running around, most likely sometime. I'm surprised they haven't rolled it out here too much. Of course, China has, because that's China. And we're still in the dark age for some reason on that. But I've like like in the next 10 years more like the simple robots, just the they're on wheels running around, just doing little minor things, nothing too major as of yet. So that's about to look forward to. Of course, China's already doing these things, so obviously, it's kind of strange why that's not, especially now with the pandemic and everything. You think they would push more of that agenda just yet, but they're not doing it in the U.S. for various reasons. You have enough problems here. And even the pandemic, this thing might last for, I mean, it felt like 2022, but this thing might last for a lot longer than that. They're going to push the agenda as far as they can. So it's really hard to say where this is going to go. So, all right, before we get started here, before we go into the bullying under, oh, yeah, I did a good job setting that up. So I'm Tor.com. I have private sessions. You want to have a channel, go ahead Zoom channel my phone. We have the shop here. I'm on the 18th. Same situation here. We have sign up for webinar, social network. Rabbit. Oh, you have a new adventure here. Rabbit, so you can get your this cat getting himself, humans are taking care of them and behind the scenes. All right, thank you for the support. Okay, so the MILABS are, I imagine a lot of them are underground, but it seems like they're part of many military installations around the world. A lot of it is Zeta technology. There's other technologies, but before most of it's Zeta. We're kind of like living in a MILAB if you really want to look at it. I mean, when we have that the riots that we had recently, it's kind of like a MILAB operation there. So MK Ultra type of thing. So I mean, I feel like in the next couple of years we'll get more of a clear understanding of these things. We're not quite yet. Obviously, gotta be touchy. Be careful as to touchy subjects. People getting hurt and all that. You don't want to go into that too deeply. Was it? People are fake and all that, or that's an actor playing somebody or whatever. It's just that could be true, but anyway. Also, there are. This is kind of unrelated. I was going to bring this up. This is coming to my mind about cities that there's books out there. At least one I've seen, maybe two, maybe one definitely. Like Chicago look completely different than it does right now, uh, and probably New York too. Like it looks like more Greek looking and all that. I believe why that comes from other versions of Earth. And it has a bleed through where people are feeling that looks something different than what we're being told. So like a parallel reality is coming through. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was totally real. Could be. But it feels like it's a parallel reality. Obviously, you can't see everything, but it's in the past too. So let's see where that goes. So, all right. We're going to connect to the MILAB energies of alien abductions and see where we get with that. And we're going to robot futures, and we'll see where else we head from there. So, all right. Blessings. All right. Much love. Greetings. We are the Zetas. Greetings to you. Yes, there are Zetas that have lost their care for humanity. Many of them have been abducted themselves and been tampered with by other Zetas. There's some reptilians, but it is actually a Zeta on Zeta battle at this time, as there is a human on human battle on your planet. As there are Zetas that have want to infiltrate your world, but do not want to connect to it. So they use drones to do these things. And your military has been taught to how to do this. Well, so your military is, say, yes, battling rogue beings, yes. Even your reptilians can have difficulties where reptilians can actually be drugged. Of course, you have to know what you're doing by doing that because they're very difficult to drug, but it is possible. And even they can have psychedelics where they're doing things they should not be doing. So, as it happens with humans going through MK Ultra, aliens go through it also. So there's, yes, many hidden agendas that are not being brought into your reality. As, yes, even army generals are being manipulated on a grand scale. It goes, yes, there's layers of all of this, but it's up to you what you want to see for your own selves. Obviously, you're not seeing this on a personal level, on a physical level. It's very well hidden for obvious reasons. But when you're around these facilities, it's a different story. Of course, if you're inside, it's a whole totally different world. It is actually more bizarre than even what's even been mentioned. There's been many accounts, but it actually goes darker and it goes deeper than what's been brought up on a physical, especially with Dulce. You can say, yes, also Dulce is one of your main abduction points, meaning that's where the many beings are dropped off at. So astral Dulce is much bigger and plays a bigger role in, like, on an astral level, kind of like vacuuming the Earth's energy to a certain extent. Well, because it keeps your reality going. It continues the story. So you're here to change those timelines where you no longer have this mystery. You have more of the truth coming out, not just through channeled messages, but actually to experience it. So, yes, you have many years for this to unlock because, yes, they're terrified to reveal themselves, those that are doing these things, because they know they have to answer to God, you could say. Yes, many do work in the shadows, but they plan on staying there. But as your humans start to awaken to more of this, even through channeling messages, because sometimes channeling is easier to actually see it in the physical. Because you can, as a channel message, you can just look the other way. It's like, yeah, whatever. But if you actually see it physically, it can cause some bodily harm to you. Shock is what it's called. Of what you're, that's why a lot of truth has not been brought out. Because of what, I mean, if you really want to know, it's here. Yes, you see the horrors of World War II. Obviously, many have done much worse in your modern era, but in secret. Obviously, not the numbers, but still, is yes, as you're hearing these different types, so we feel a great deal will be unraveled to you when the time comes. So this is all just preparing you mentally, physically, for what? Yes, you have your aliens, but also what have the aliens have done here? What have humans have done here? How they sold out society? Because many of them are praying. Your humans are yes, they truly are praying to a higher God to protect themselves from their sins. They know they're sinful. They don't care, but when society starts to realize what they have done, there's definitely a loss. So as long as they're in the shadows, they have won, as you know. And that is what you're here to change. Where they make a mistake, where much of this starts to leak out. So you're going to an age of, yes, there's truth out there, but it's true. It truly is true. Can you handle it? Because there's a positive side, but also the dark side has to be revealed. When you reveal the dark side can't have power. As you know, you bring light to it. It no longer has a life anymore. It goes where it goes to more darkness, but it leaves your planet. I discover it's like you're going through a cave that people don't want to go into. So once again, we bring this information here for you. Of course, you've heard it other places. To bring it out is up to you, up to your human conscience. Obviously, it will find who it needs to be heard by, of course. But there's many truths. There's many layers to what is happening on your planet in secret, as you know, the human trafficking energies, of course. MILAB is, yes, a walk. It's a third dimensional program it's programming your reality currently as we speak. It knows how, it's like a supercomputer. It knows how to lower your Earth's vibration. Think of a supercomputer. It's designed to keep it tells your society, your secret society, and there needs to be an event to lower Earth's vibration. And yes, others are confirming that through their own energies. But think about a supercomputer and AI, yes, running your world. Which, yes, we do see that, yes. There's different types of ways. Obviously, you don't have to give your power away to it, but once again, if you want to know of your truth of your reality. Yes. So, blessings to you. Greetings to you. We are the Pleiadians. We are the collective blessings to you. Your Android realities, yes, are there are already in parallel Earths at this time, as you probably know. And you're seeing it grow slowly as an infant. It's funny how like the phone is kind of like an infant AI. It's like a baby. And then it'll have, yes, more influence on your world eventually. Of course, your search engines already has an AI. Even that's a baby. Kind of a teenager, but still a baby. So yes, you're unmasking your Earth. What will you find? Eventually, yes, there will be Android societies eventually, but this will be sometime in your future. As you'll be, because you want to go to the next evolution. It won't take over humanity. It'll be a part of humanity. It's life. Obviously, some are going to have difficulties with that, as they have difficulties. Man, it's always going to have that in their world. It's just the way it is. You don't have a complacent planet. It's like, oh, that looks nice. Let's all accept it. Obviously, your world has different ways of doing things, which is fine. But we do see as an Android world where more artificial intelligence beings are, where the technology is finally there, where they can actually function, at least in a public arena, where they're humanoid beings. But they will want somewhere to live among their own people also. And yes, they will go by number. Some of them might call themselves, after you, but usually a number city is another way of knowing where you're heading. This is an Android world the city we're going into. So you have some idea of your environment. If you're just going to Kansas and it's all a bunch of androids everywhere, it's probably best to have some kind of Kansas like 613 or something there to give you an idea that this is not your normal Kansas. So yes, this is very much part of your future Earth. Yes, you'll find it to make it work somehow once society leaves the control mentality as you're going through right now and thinks more about the future. It's like, what can we bring into the future? What can we develop ourselves individually? That's your problem. Those are good problems. Obviously, yes, your control system currently is old-fashioned. It is running out of steam, of course. And of course, it hates that. It even hates itself, actually. It never really liked itself. And it's been controlling your planet for thousands of years. So you're dealing with something that just really dislikes itself. And they kind of put that into society, where society kind of doesn't like itself either. Well, when you're dealing with a control system here, an AI system, which is, yes, connected to MILAB. MILAB is more like a modern version of manipulation on your planet. There's an older names of it, but that's not important. Some come from Mayans, some of them, that they have had their dark side. They put their spell on society. Different groups put their manipulation on society. Even New York City has its own manipulation it puts on society. Different cities do this also. So it's the veil for abductions to occur also. Because abductions, now who gets abducted though? Usually do you have something they want? Just like when you're out fishing, like you see a fish that you want and you can become obsessed over it if you're a fisherman. Same, like people want the great whale or a shark for that matter. Alien beings see humans that way too. If you're finding something intriguing, they're going to want it. So especially when you start digging into alien informations, all of a sudden you feel weird, like something just happened to you. Yes, because you just got marked. And some of you are bringing out, and for some of you have been these MILABs already, of course. And yes, they're not, of course, the most positive. If you're there, or remember, you'll probably see some of your fellow politicians there, as that is a place where they get reconnected. Obviously, the word of UFO and alien is erased from their vocabulary for obvious reasons. Obviously, Washington isn't going to talk about what is controlling them. Why would you do that? If MILAB is controlling Washington, which it is, if you want the hub of it, that's where the hub is. It's in all governments, so it's not just there. Obviously, it's not so much in all. It's not always predominantly in all governments, but the main city of countries are, yes. Russia actually isn't so powerful. Yes, it does a lot of manipulations in society to keep it, your Putin in power, but really they don't really mess with him. He kind of does what he's supposed to do overall. But your politicians, your Washington is a MILAB. That's all MILAB. Obviously, they're going to look the other way. Obviously, they don't want to talk about the problem. It is, once again, a touchy subject. It's like the puppet usually doesn't talk about the puppeteer. It just doesn't work usually. It's like, does the puppeteer come out during the show? Not necessarily. So, in the MILAB energy, it constantly scans the Earth where it needs to move things around. So yes, it's a collective consciousness AI system. You can say it's like a big eye. Think of like a giant eye watching the world. Yes, it's kind of creepy, but that's kind of, your world doesn't feel that comfortable now, does it? Depending on who you are. Even if you don't believe in any of this aliens or any of it, when you just scan the energies of the Earth, just feel it doesn't feel right, does it? It's not supposed to, because it's under many manipulation controls, and we're just talking about one right now. Well, it's always trying to stay ahead of society. How can we keep people in this reality? Which is a daunting task, once again. So they bring financial problems to people. They bring relationship problems to people. Obviously, not everyone. But, they have it enough where they can keep it locked in. Obviously, many of you are unlocking that. And we feel like many of you, we're talking about things you've already been through. You probably just don't remember. And if not, yes, this isn't exactly your dinner table conversations with family during your holidays usually. But it would help, because yes, it's a mystery, but why is it out there to begin with? Why? Yes, it's a little bit of talk about it for obvious reasons, but eventually your world will have to digest it sooner or later. Because there will be anomalies happening on your planet where answers need to be done. So you're all preparing yourself for this, like a opening of the library. Now, what day will that occur is the hidden information on your planet. You're preparing yourselves individually what door to unlock. So your world's getting reset. So it's like you're kind of like preparing for war, but not you're just preparing humanity for its own war, not your own war, your self war, but human war, where you're bringing more of this information into reality, where many dismissed it. It's like, no, this is more a fact. Obviously, nothing's going to be 100%. Nothing ever is. Nothing ever is. But the fact of the matter that, because when you have classified and secrets, obviously they're not going to make it easy for you to tap into everything 100%. And that's like tapping in just a regular person's energy. They're not going to tell you everything. And that's fine. That's the way it should be. But when you have a shadow government doing this, obviously you can tap into their energy to a certain extent. But the more of you do it, the more as you have the right intentions to just unlock the secrets here, more of society will become susceptible to it. And basically, these are the new shoes, you can say. This is a new reality we're in. So you're just part of the wave. that has not hit yet, as you know. Yes, it's not a fast wave, of course, because when it hits, it's going to be a big one. I mean, when instead of laughing about extraterrestrial information, more would take it seriously, which would probably give many a panic attack. Just with the thought of this is real, and actually start to see it for real. When you actually see it, it can be kind of disturbing. I mean, obviously there's positive beings here, but what about the dark ones that are doing most of your madness here? And it never doesn't have to be many. But how are you going to shine light on something that you keep ignoring? Not that many of you are ignoring it, but you want to shine your light, you want to heal your earth, but you have to look at the patient, you have to look at the wound to move on. Yes, it might be disturbing, but that's why you have your light to heal it so you can move on. The human traffic energy, you think that's not a kind energy either, but these alien beings that are doing this, yes, they need all the love they can get. And that is what your society is learning at this time. You're learning to love yourselves, or yourself for that matter. And not that you have to always get along with each other. No, that's asking a lot. That's kind of impossible. Well, because you're always going to have different opinions. There's nothing wrong with it. So you're not always going to get along with everyone. But that's the beauty of this planet also. Diversity. Obviously, the diversity of it is kind of like a step in the wrong direction in some ways because things aren't awakening as they could be. But that's what you're here to change a lot of that. So it's never going to be really easy in disclosure, no. Not really. You'll have your positive beings, but they're not being going to easy to access when you have negative ones here kind of pushing them away. They're the ones controlling the mind of humanity at this time. It's quite complicated here, actually, to think about it. I mean, once you get more into yourself, you can see what they're doing here. Basically, these beings are like reptilian beings, grays that are causing difficulties here. Many of you, as you want to see it, will come more clear to you. At least through information for right now. Doesn't mean they'll show up physically, but one day they will appear physically here. For those that can't handle it, yes, it might be a little bit disturbing, but you're preparing to not to be disturbed. Those that don't believe in any of this, it'll be whistles in their minds, of course. So you're building what you call a thick skin for what's here. It's like I want to see it. Well, yes, it's going to have to show itself eventually. So that's what you're preparing. So this is a different type of war. It's not the war with guns or anything like that. It's a spiritual war, which has been going on for thousands of years. But now you're recognizing there's a war been going here at all. Angels, demonic beings, yes, you're here to heal that vibration to move forward. That's what this is all about, as you know. So, yeah, the more you speak about, obviously you can't tell the whole world about the MILAB energy for obvious reasons. People are just like, feel like they're getting sick just hearing about it, which is quite understood. That shows their empathic power is working. So we're not just talking about nothing. This thing is real, and it is. It's hidden for obvious reasons. Yes, it's running your show. It's not going to just show itself. I mean, it does, but it's not clear. It shows itself in symbols, in people, and whistleblowers, things like that. Obviously, the full picture isn't there. So those that are talking about they've been through super soldier lifetimes, yeah, they're coming out of the MILAB hypnotism, you can say. They're allowed to get the download to remember. And much of that happened, their super soldier life obviously happened in more of the fourth dimension. They're just remembering it. So it's just difficult to digest when you don't see these things, of course. But that's what you're working towards, so you can see it. Yes, and the eyes might be, it might be a little bit much for some, of course. So, blessings to you.